The Super Media Bros podcast is a founding member of the OddPods Media Network.
Super Media Bros.
So yeah, I'm gonna need to invest in a shit ton of night lights and all kind of shit from this motherfucker.
I'll be honest, last 40 minutes of this movie, it's like my body forgot that I was watching a movie. It just felt like I was experiencing my own fever dream.
Was you floating?
I was on the ceiling.
Shit. Welcome to episode 262 of the Super Media Bros podcast. I'm Richie.
I'm Devin.
Guys, we're gonna jump right into it. We're covering Skinamarink. This just premiered on Shudder last week, and we were giving it a week before we just dove in because this is a very divisive film, and for what many are considering the introduction of analog horror to the big screen, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Highly experimental horror film, the debut of Kyle Edward Ball, which I loved this movie, honestly, and we'll just kind of talk about it. Devin, I'm pretty sure you feel pretty similarly.
Oh, yeah.
Just watching this, man, because like I saw it, we just finished watching it. It was his first time. Even though I was paying attention, I was legit just looking over at you on the couch. I was waiting. I was like, oh, I can't wait for this scene to pop up or this scene to fucking pop up.
Yeah, because you had already watched it, what, once or twice? Once, okay. You know what it almost reminded me of, though? It kind of reminded me, just in the aesthetic and the silence of it, the imagery, everything, reminded me of that movie Begotten.
Really?
Yeah, because whenever that movie starts, the way that the film grade is, even though it's not a silent movie necessarily, it's just like that eerie background noise to give it that home movie sort of feel to it.
Yeah, you're essentially just hearing the white noise of the room silence amplified.
Yeah. And I don't know, it just, the vibe of it was like Begotten. It story-wise, it has nothing to do with Skinamarink.
Sure.
But just like, if you watch the first like 30 seconds, it'll be like, I see what you're talking about.
Right. And wildly enough on this one, this is shot on digital. It's set in 1995, shot on digital.
Dude, that was the thing, is I remember whenever it first started, I was like, so is this like a filter, or did they actually take old film and just run it through the fucking dirt?
It honestly, today, and I mean still then, but today it would be more expensive to shoot it on film.
How crazy is that? Damn.
Yeah, but I mean, like, actual reel is so expensive.
Yeah, that's true. It's a resource that you have to physically obtain.
Yeah, and then you have to decide, do you want to shoot it on 16 or 32 or whatever?
Yeah,
that's
true.
This movie was developed from Heck, which was a proof of concept short film that he had on his YouTube channel. It leaked, though. Like, that's the fucking wild part. When this movie premiered at the Fantasia Film Festival this past summer, it got fucking leaked online due to a technical difficulty, if you will.
Sure.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of hope it was a happy accident because let's be honest, like TikTok and like that's where I saw a lot of this shit was like TikTok, and it got word of mouth and it got traction. I mean, think about how the first Paranormal Activity film did. Like, they pulled something similar with like the social media or like the word of mouth aspect or whatever, and it wound up being a whole franchise.
Right. Yeah, they ended up spawning like, what, 5 of those fuckers?
What, Paranormal Activity?
Yeah.
Try 8, my dude.
Are you fucking... God damn. I watched the first 2. You got to keep in mind, whenever the first 2 came out, I was a kid practically. I think I might have been in middle school, I think. And I didn't get it, I think. And I haven't revisited since because, like, I remember it overall, you know, and I'm like, okay, But as far as the actual effectiveness of the horror and direction, I don't know. I might have to go rewatch it.
Yeah, you definitely should. Like, the entire franchise is absolutely worth going to do, like, front to back.
Okay.
We just recently did that on Paramount. Like, they're all on Paramount Plus.
Okay, cool, yeah.
So, if I had to really describe this movie to somebody, after having seen it a couple of times, and I'm sure you might agree with me on this one, it feels like the Blair Witch Project combined with Paranormal Activity / like analog like video game horror, because like that's kind of where this came from. Like the whole analog horror genre is mostly being done in video games right now, and then like short films on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
The Backrooms is probably the biggest well-known analog horror thing, which coincidentally, as of this recording, just got announced today on bloodydisgusting.com. They're doing a live action with A24 and James Wan, which I'm not fucking surprised. And that pairing has me sold on it, period.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, like this movie is set in 1995, and it deals with a 4 and a 6-year-old brother and sister that, according to the write-up on Shudder, which this is just the surface level, kids wake up, their dad isn't home, and the windows and the doors in the house have disappeared, and some kind of malevolent force is fucking with them. It doesn't even say that, mostly, like as far as like the malevolent force or whatever, but let's be honest, it by looking at the trailer for this and then watching the movie, there's no clear narrative that the director is going to readily give out. So on your own, there's a lot to decide what this is and what is happening. But really, if you dive into it a little deeper, there's a lot of fucking places you could go. And I kind of like that you're able to interpret it on your own.
Yeah, because we watched an explanation video on it before we even start recording, and the guy that we were watching, I'm blanking on his name, but somebody who is a lot more educated than me, he had described the filmmaking part of it, like the cinematography, as thinking back to memories and how, whenever you were a little kid, you remember these traumatic experiences, but you don't remember the exact frame for frame. You remember the image of, say, your hand grabbing the remote control, and you remember the image of like looking up from the ground, looking right, and your mother is standing up in front of you, just watching you. Things like that. And that's basically the whole movie. It's almost like, I wouldn't call it a slideshow because there are moving characters, but it's almost directed like a slideshow.
Yeah, it's liminal space, the movie, honestly.
Yeah.
But I love the framework of all the shots because it doesn't give you the whole picture, just like you said. It is based in memory. It is based in like, oh, this is how I see it happening. Like I can vividly recall falling and cutting my right knee open as a child on a shell rock in my grandparents' driveway. I don't remember how I did it. All I remember is falling and then like sitting up on my ass, like with my skin open on my kneecap bleeding and hurting. I don't remember dick else about that. Like straight up, remember nothing else about it. And that's how I kind of picture this shit, is these kids, especially because it's from Kevin's point of view. It's not from Kaylee, it's from Kevin's point of view, the younger brother. That's even scarier because, the kids don't really have necessarily a concept of what is happening. They just know something is wrong. And they're trying to basically ignore it because the whole time this movie is going, they've got these old cartoons just looping on the television set in the living room. And that is unsettling enough because there's something weird and creepy about old black and white cartoons that just play music.
The ones that get me even worse than those are the 1940s and 50s, like Coca-Cola paintings. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, whenever they have the people that are painted on it and they just have that fucking like soulless look in their face or whatever.
And like you'll see like the blonde broad with the fucking red lipstick just smiling, and she's got the pearly white teeth.
It's like that one kid meme that goes around on Facebook every once in a while where that little girl's got her fucking hands clasped together and they're spreading the jelly on that bread and she's like, spread it.
Those creep me out. The old like Campbell's cans. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, God.
Dude, no. My mom bought like a set of thermoses for like soup and everything for school.
Soup for your family.
Yeah, because I used to love like getting like soup or whatever. And so she was like, well, we'll get some thermoses, and you could bring it. I was like, heck yeah. And as a kid, Danny Phantom was one of my favorites. And a thermos was a very prominent item in the show. And she showed me the thermoses that she got, and I was like, oh, thanks. Fucking creeped me the fuck out, but I was too nice to say anything.
Yeah, dude, this movie definitely is preying on that nostalgia factor, though, too. Speaking of, like, what you were just discussing. And I think that is why people our age, or hell, anybody that's nostalgic, but especially people our age that remember shit like this is like, for me at least, if I think about going back in 1995 where this was, I lived in a home where, like, the walls looked bare like that. Like, we had family photos and shit, but dude, it was that fucking brown paneling on the walls and the fucking white ceilings and just the fucking blue carpet and just looking around. And I was just thinking about my childhood and how, like, something like this happening to me as a kid, I would have been like, okay, well, I'm just going to go where there's more light in the fucking room. And the one thing that I did notice was like all the flashlights and shit. And then, starting to think about where these kids can't reach the fucking light switches. And it's like they're in a dark fucking house. And there's really no way to spoil this movie, to you guys out there that may have not seen this or you're on the fence about seeing it. There's a lot of happenings. It's definitely, it's linear in a sense, but it's also non-linear. Like Deb said, it feels like a fever dream. And it's also, technically, it's through the nightmare of this 4-year-old kid. There's a lot of shit that happens, and it's a very slow burn. That's what I think a lot of people were turned off by with this. It's a very avant-garde, slow burn, experimental horror film that is also violent to the children that are in this movie, which is something a lot of other people were just not about. And I'm like, it's fucking horror, dude.
Yeah, like, I'm a softie for animals. So in a horror movie, if like a dog gets murdered or a cat or something, that makes me feel uneasy.
Same.
But that's just because it's like 9 out of 10 times it's not really necessary, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's always a side character's dog. It's never even the main character.
Yeah.
So it's like, to me, it's always like, okay, guess it's to show the director didn't give a fuck, I guess. I don't know. But here it's like, these are the only characters that we have. It's like, what else do you want to happen?
Yeah, and what happens is what it is. Like, spoilers abound, by the way. Like, we will be talking about plot points and all this other shit, like, from here on. So if you don't want to, get spoiled or whatever, just skip ahead a little bit. I can't tell you where, but skip ahead. So basically, in the movie, it opens with the child, Kevin. He's, like, playing hide and seek or whatever. And he biffs it and goes down the stairs. Like, you don't see this shit happen, but you hear it.
Yeah.
And I can just picture the dad, because, like, you just see doors opening and footsteps happening, and then he leaves and brings him to the hospital, and he calls, I guess, the mom or whatever the fuck to let her know what happened. But it's just funny, because the way it fucking happens, you just hear, like, like he's all fucking crying, and then you just hear the fucking light switch turned on, the fucking doors open, and the dad's, like, trudging downstairs, like, oh, god damn, motherfucker.
How many times do I have to fucking tell you to stop?
Grabs him by the arm, you fucking little idiot. Like, he's like, Jesus Christ. Like, he doesn't really fucking say it, but like,
And that thumb was like just digging into his fucking wrist.
Oh,
you know
God.
What I'm talking about.
Yeah. Ugh.
90s kids and 90s babies know all about that shit. Anybody younger than that, y'all don't know what we're talking about.
That and getting fucking clubbed with a goddamn shoe.
Or digging the middle finger and thumb in the back of your
fucking neck. Oh my God. Or where they grab you up. This is so fucked up. Like, we're laughing at our trauma, but you know what? I can't help it. I gotta laugh at my trauma. fucking grabbing you up by the fucking earlobe and just getting right in there. What did I fucking tell you, you little shit? You know, just that kind of bullshit.
yeah.
Our boomer ass fucking parents thought they were doing right by us and they were fucking us up more.
When we get home, you go straight into your fucking room. Don't you dare turn that fucking TV on.
Yeah.
You better not play that game.
I was playing that game on mute, bitch.
I'm not gonna lie. I used to do this thing where I would take my seat up, like I had like a little moon chair. I brought that bitch up to like maybe 3 feet away from the TV, took my fucking headphones and plugged it into the little aux port, and I was playing my games, watching a movie, whatever the fuck. What I didn't realize is, if my ears are plugged up,
can't hear nobody coming.
Yeah. Oh, dude. When I say my daddy beat my ass.
Did you look like that kid? And I swear to God, we're going to get back to the movie, but goddamn, did you look like you know the meme I'm talking about where that kid fell over with the fucking spaghetti spilled all over him?
Oh, dude,
in the high
was
chair?
horrible. Yeah.
Just like, man, fuck that kid.
Oh, dude. I got my ass tore up because this is how he described it. He said, "You think you're smarter than us?"
Jesus Christ. You know what, though? Looking back on it, yeah, I am. Yeah, I fucking am. But yeah, like he calls and he's just like, yeah, Kevin fell down the stairs and he bumped his head. He didn't need stitches, but he hurt it pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, he sounded so like
concerned, like not at all.
Just like, yeah, he fucking, no, he didn't need stitches. Like he just doesn't care.
Just fucking nonchalant about it. He's just yeah,
the bone wasn't sticking out. He's fine.
Man, fuck them kids, bro. Fucking Kaylee comes out. How's Kevin? Shut up, you little weasel. Like you know, just that kind of shit or whatever. He's just like, I was trying to go to fucking sleep or whatever.
And it's funny because none of this dialogue is happening, but it's just like that's how you have to assume based on his just demeanor.
Yeah, no shit. And like later on, like there's such a fucking allegory for child abuse in this fucking movie, though, dude. It's so insane. Yeah. Because there's at one point where when they wake up from the rest of this happening, like the parents are not home. Like nobody's there. The doors and the windows are gone in the house. And at one point, Kevin is like, you know, where's dad? Or Kaylee was like, where's dad? And then like Kevin's like, well, maybe he went mom. And then Kaylee's like, I don't want to talk about mom. And you're just like, that's one of the first lines in the movie that you're just uncomfortable about. You're like, oh, we're going there. But some of the creepier scenes in this movie are just, the silence and the atmosphere is so unsettling that literally any line that would be throwaway in literally any other fucking movie makes my fucking skin crawl. Like when he goes upstairs, like the fucking thing is just like, Kevin, come upstairs. And you're like, you fucking better not, kid. Goes upstairs and you see the dad sitting on the edge of the bed and he just, look under the bed. Fuck that shit, man. That's every kid's worst nightmare.
I know.
Like, he fucking knows. He's, like, torturing the little shit. He's like, I heard you've been like fucking having nightmares about monsters under your bed. Well, you want to look under my bed, motherfucker. I got to look under your bed all the time. You're going to look under my fucking bed. It's like, oh. Yeah, because, like, then he looks under, and then the dad is gone. And then his mom is on the other side. And this is kind of, like, more theory territory where, like, it's theorized that maybe the mom, like, welcomed some kind of fucking, like, poltergeist into the house, and it's taking her over. And it's fucking unsettling. Like, what you don't see, I think, is what fucks with you the most about this movie, is what you don't see. And then the shit that you do see is just enough to fuck with you. And then there's some legitimate jump scares, which typically jump scares are kind of cheap in my book, but I think they're very well done here because of how intense the silence is.
Well, not only that, but it is from the perspective of a child. So, cheap or not, if it scares a child, then it's kind of supposed to hear. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's intentional.
Yeah. And then there's a spot where Kevin's trying to dial 911, but the little bastard can't fucking get the numbers right. Like, for a while, literally cannot get any kind of phone number right.
What a dumbass.
I know, right? Like, you'd think it'd be on the fridge or something. Like, written. 911.
Dad, what's the number to 911?
You little dumbass.
Yeah, like, what's my boy doing?
He just, fuck you, little dumbass. Knocks him over. I swear to God, like that's probably what he was like, smack the shit out of him. But the minute when he does, like a lot of this shit fucking happens in the movie, like the toilet disappears, which I was like, oh, that's fucking random. Like this poltergeist really, really fucking with him. It's like, oh, you ain't gonna shit. You ain't about to shit. If you do shit, it's gonna be in your pants. And then the kid's like, fuck you, we got buckets.
Where my boys find all that shit?
I know, I was kind of thinking that too. It was like, that's generally like something you would keep in the garage or something maybe.
Because that's the thing is like, I don't think it was necessarily to fuck with them. It was because if you think about it, yeah, the sewage line and everything, that is directed to the outside world, and they are completely like vacated away from it. Like
True.
They're barricaded.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either. That's kind of funny though. Like it's like this motherfucker, like this fucking entity done thought of all the escape routes in this house. He's like, we're gonna take the windows from you little bastards. We about to take the fucking doors. He's like, man, these little motherfuckers small as to fit through the shitter. I'm gonna take that too.
Yeah. Motherfucker said, I'll give you a phone, but I mean, who you gonna call?
I'm gonna prank your ass with that bitch because he fucking does.
Oh yeah. It's like, God damn.
Yeah, because he calls 911 or whatever, and then like he speaks to this operator because there's a spot in this movie where that fucker just straight up is trying to play with him, and he fucking won't do it. And so there's a drawer that opens up, and for what the fuck ever reason, Kevin grabs up a knife out of this damn thing, and then you just hear the voice. He's just like,
stick the knife in your eye.
And he fucking does. Ooh.
Bruh. 4-year-old kid just stabbed himself in the eye.
Ugh. I need to take a break after that one. If you want something that's like slightly less depressing than this, go listen to our friends over at From the Middle podcast and like, check them out and, go hang out in the Midwest with some friendlier topics and some lightheartedness. And they're pretty fucking cool guys. But if you want to stay depressed on the espresso depresso train, or whatever, come back after this break and be sure to go check out all the fine products we're about to offer you. You're listening to the Super Media Bros on the OddPods Media Network. Please come back. We promise there's going to be pie and punch. Hey, guess what?
What?
Did you know Manscaped is now selling beard products?
Funny enough, I'm just now starting to grow a beard.
I know. I was really proud of you for doing that.
I know. I'm trying to braid it like a Viking.
Did you have to do the thing where you like Play-Doh squeezed yourself for it to come out?
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I won't tell anybody that happened.
Thank you.
Manscaped is once again revolutionizing men's grooming with the brand new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. From a beard trim to a fresh shave, the technology behind the Beard Hedger Pro Kit allows you to shape your signature beard look. And now you can finally use Manscaped products to make sure your drapes match your carpet. So go to manscaped.com using our code SUPER to get 20% off and free shipping. Nobody likes a weird beard, so say goodbye to all your stubble trouble with the new Pro Beard Kit from Manscaped. It all starts with the Beard Hedger. This thing is a juggernaut of fixing faces. You've seen it. It's freaking huge.
Dog, this thing is fire.
Speaking of Viking, it's like a weapon.
Oh, yeah.
First off, this thing is cordless, and it's got a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths all in one guard, so there's no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. I can't stand that. Like, finally.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain. Like, it's honestly one of my pet peeves in my bathroom.
Not anymore. Face grooming doesn't need to be hard, so you're going to get 20 different beard lengths in just one guard. Plus, it's waterproof, so you can avoid all that hair in the sink. The titanium-coated T-blade is tough on hair, but smooth on your face, leading to single-stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. The Pro Kit does not end there. They've also created 4 dermatologist-tested formulations for your post-trim care.
Huh?
Yeah, remember how you were talking about getting a beard balm and shampoo and all that stuff?
Yeah.
All right, well, check this. First off, the beard shampoo and conditioner.
What?
Yeah, you need to remember that your hair is different on all parts of your body. Your beard hair is more coarse and easier to damage than the hair on your head. That's why the kit has made shampoo and conditioner specifically designed to moisturize, reduce ingrown hairs, replace natural oils, and promote beard health. Next up, the kit's got Manscaped's beard oil. Nobody wants a guy whose beard is brittle and dry. The oil relieves dryness, both on the beard and the skin beneath, while adding a little shimmer and shine, making you look extra fine. Cap off the kit with the Beard Balm. It's a pomade that shapes, styles, moisturizes, and tames for a sculpted look to attract any fellows or dames. The Pro Beard Kit also comes with 3 free gifts: a beard brush, a comb, and scissors to ensure that your beard is ready to impress. And dude, that beard brush is so soft. And my God, the comb, I love that thing. It's got two like sides. You could flip that thing around for thin or like, wide.
I've been using my old clippers guard, like taking it off of the clippers
and combing it with it?
Yeah.
Oh, not anymore, dude.
Oh, this is going to be so much better.
Right? This kid's got it all. And you guys can get it all by going to manscaped.com and getting 20% off with free shipping by using our code SUPER. That's 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com using our code SUPER. The Manscaped Beard Hedger. 1 stroke, 1 guard, 20 lengths. Thank you, Manscaped.
You the goat.
Goated. Support for today's episode comes from Vincero Collective. If you're not familiar with Vincero yet, they make exceptionally crafted and stylish watches at affordable prices. So if you're looking for a perfect Valentine's Day gift for yourself or somebody that you love, you can save 20% off and get free shipping site-wide with our exclusive code SUPER. Vincero Collective is a premium lifestyle brand based out of San Diego that makes high-quality and affordable sunglasses, jewelry, and much more. Vincero's goal is to help the everyday person accessorize their outfits with premium products at a price that makes sense. They design everything in-house and source their own materials and produce in small batches. They're committed to doing things well or just not doing them at all. For all the boss men and women out there, their watches are a must. They can elevate your look with a twist of the wrist. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, durable silicone, and Italian marble straps, these sleek and modern watches come with reliable automatic and Japanese quartz movements. And did we mention the sunglasses? Shades on isn't just a catchphrase from the Super Media Bros here. The sunglasses come polarized with handcrafted frames and so many styles to choose from. Men's jewelry is on the rise too. From pendants and chains to bold bracelet statements, Vincero is consistent with their jewelry drops, the perfect accompaniment to your watch. And ladies, or men buying for your partner, Vincero's women's jewelry is designed to stand out and keep you feeling confident. They make it easy to reinvent your style one accessory at a time. Vincero Collective is your one-stop shop for Valentine's Day. They're even offering a 5-year guarantee with a 365-day free return policy to make gift giving even easier. So whether it's a gift for yourself or someone in your life, add Vincero to the top of your wish list. And don't forget to use our code SUPER at VinceroCollective.com to get 20% off and free shipping site-wide. That's VINCERO Collective.com using our code SUPER to get 20% off and free shipping site-wide. Look good, feel good, and save big with Vincero.
Hey, you there. We've got a question for you. Are you tired of clickbait stories and the loudest voices driving discussions in culture and entertainment?
If so, I'm Dylan.
I'm Kendall.
And I'm Corey. And we host the podcast From the Middle. We're middle-class guys living in the middle of America, in the middle chapters of our lives with points of view somewhere in the middle.
We take a more reasonable and centrist approach in our discussions covering genres like comedy, culture, entertainment, and interviews with really interesting folks like business owners, comic creators, doctors, news anchors, New York Times best-selling illustrators, professional stand-up comics, and more. We really value a relaxed and conversational podcast, one that we hope is so fun and laid back, you'll forget you're not actually hanging out with us.
So search at From the Mid Pod, just like it sounds, or check us out everywhere you can find podcasts.
And we are back, and there is no pie and punch. Sorry.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it. You let me down.
Oh, I'm sorry. Man, these parents let these fucking kids down, let me tell you. Like,
Fuck.
it turns out that the phone call that Kevin made to 911 was a fake out because the entity was fucking with him and the actual phone was not a phone. It's just one of those old school chatter telephones. I used to have one of those. That's what fucked me up the most about this movie. I had that exact fucking toy.
No, I didn't, but my cousin who was like probably 6-7 years older than me did. And so like I had seen them and his grandparents fucking like, cause he lived with the grandparents. Okay. So grandparents, like, not attic, but you know how like old people have like this weird shed full of anywhere between toys to tools for some odd reason. Yeah, it was in there, and I always was like, that motherfucker creepy.
Oh God, dude, seeing that shit though is what fucked me up. Like seeing that toy, I was like, oh my God, I fucking had that chatter telephone. I had it. Like you could drag it along. Like it used to come with a string on the front of it and you could just drag it behind you. It was on wheels and shit, bro.
Oh my God, yeah. I think he did have that exact one.
That's what I'm saying. Like you could drag the fucker on wheels, and sometimes, like depending on the model, the fucking eyes would move. Depending,
Yep,
or
mine
sometimes,
did.
yeah, I was gonna say,
Or not mine, but my cousin's. Yeah.
Like some of them were just stickers, and then there was the ones that could move the eyes. And what was fucked up is like when the lights went out on this chatter phone, that's when you were like, "What the fuck is that?" And I was like, "Oh, this about to get him. It's about to get my boy." And then, like when it just looks at it just because the light comes on and you can see it, and then the eye just look at the screen, and then it's like this real shrill, like, sound, and then it goes back, and it looks like this fucking weird demon looking creature or some shit. And at this point, Kaylee is missing throughout some of this film, and then Kevin winds up finding her, and she's missing her mouth and her eyes. And it's at one point where the demon just starts talking, and it's like, Kaylee wanted mom and dad, didn't do what she was told, so I took her mouth away. Bruh. Man, fuck that shit.
Oh, yeah. What do you even do in that scenario?
I don't know. I just started thinking about how she didn't have eyes either, and then fucking like, at least she had a nose to breathe out of, because if that fucker would have just plugged her whole face up, how do you live?
Looking like the Question from DC Comics.
Oh God. Have you ever seen that the Stonks meme?
Yes.
That's what it looked like, dude. You fucking like you start drawing like dotted fucking eyes on your face with a Sharpie and just look like the Stonks meme or whatever the fuck.
Oh, bruh, how much do you want to bet there's a deleted scene somewhere that Kevin tried to use that same knife that he stabbed himself to try and like
cut a mouth on her?
Yeah. Please say something.
Fucking sticks the knife in eye sockets to give her an eye. Oh God, that would have been.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that would have been so like. That would have been such a fucked up visual.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know for sure if that's an actual deleted scene, but my God, why not? I'd have done that shit.
No shit, dude.
Might be a little too morbid. Dude, imagine that shit. People were already up in arms with this movie. Imagine if they showed that. Like, not even just like background, but if they physically showed it happening.
Right. And then like the movie actually has like a real plotted ending where police eventually show up to this house and this kid has like murdered everybody just for thinking he was helping. Just thinking that he was helping. He fucking killed them all with knife.
Oh, man.
He's just 4 years old and he already got a rap sheet a mile long. God damn.
Dude.
I was just making a sandwich. Like,
bruh.
Yeah, sure you were, buddy.
Dude.
Fucking dark, man.
We got to make our own movie now.
I want to talk about the last 40 minutes of this film that you mentioned earlier, just because this is kind of where it really amps.
Yeah.
It's weird to say that it amps because a couple of things happen and then not a lot happens. And then it's very intense for the last like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it was especially the last 10 minutes. It's like, dude, I was completely sober, but it felt like I was on some form of edible just because it's like I said, it felt like a fever dream.
Yeah, because like there's a spot where his toys kind of get pushed around and then all of a sudden he's upside down most of the time in the house. Like the house is flipped upside down and he's walking the ceilings and he's walking through these rooms and there's like this endless hallway that appears and all his toys are like piled up in it. There's like a text that says like 572 days. And then there's kind of more theories that are behind this, but I think the one that was supposedly most true to the script was that this is the amount of time that the entity has been torturing this family, which is really fucked up if you think about how long 572 days actually is.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost 2 fucking years, my guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's a long fucking time. Especially if this kid hasn't seen his sister or his parents in that long, depending on what day of those they disappeared. And this little dude's just getting fucking tortured, which it seems like that's what's happening because towards the end, you start seeing like these pictures of the family and their faces are getting erased and their heads are missing. And then like I implore anybody that does watch this to do it with subtitles, believe it or not, because there's a little more context to who says what is happening, what the entity is being referred to as. It's actually being referred to as some kind of like monster.
Yeah.
So there's a shot of the floor, but it's from an upside down point of view. And there's at one point, one of the cartoons kind of gets on a time loop. So it's implied that this creature is manipulating time, or this entity can manipulate time, or whatever the fuck. And it seems as though Kevin and Kaylee in time loops are being tortured by this fucker, because they each like scream and there's like blood splatter on the floor, and it keeps happening over and over. Like the blood will disappear and then they'll keep screaming and getting hurt and shit. And eventually one of them cries out for like mommy or whatever. And then it's also implied that this creature is actually taking the form of their mother, but it's more of like a figure of their mother. Like the identical features on the mom are gone. It's just like this weird formed face that happens to be like in the abyss, like towards the end of this film. And I think that's what's creepy, is that it's like a mannequin. You know how like people have like, or I'm not even calling it an irrational fear, because I think most fears are extreme. Oh, I'll say most. All fears are valid enough to whoever is experiencing the fear. But like, God, dude, mannequins are a special type of fucking fear.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with just there's no feature. There's no soul to these fuckers. And that's kind of how that face looks at the end. But the way the grain quality of this film works is just, it's already warbled enough. You know what I mean? It's like,
Plus, it's dark.
Oh God. And yeah, you can see, it feels like the grain of the film, and because it's, a constantly moving piece, and these, blemishes move, it feels so like you just mentioned, it really does feel like a fever dream, and it feels otherworldly. Like the shit's just moving and you can see, an outline of something, but it's so fucking unnerving to look at. And after this happens, it keeps telling him to go to sleep. And he's like, well, what's your name? Does not fucking respond. And that's like that's the end of the movie. It's like, it just doesn't respond. So like, and we're trying to make sense of most of it, but it's not a movie that you can really make sense of. It's an experience, really.
Yeah.
But man, like $2 million box office off of a $15,000 budget.
Oh, we'll be getting more of anybody that was involved in this. We'll be getting more of their stuff. Writer, director, actors, probably.
I really hope so. And I like that it was your first time seeing this, and I was actually very much enjoying watching your reaction playing out to how this film was progressing. And
trying to piece together varying theories, because with each passing minute, I had to reevaluate my theory on what was happening.
And I think that's the best part about it. It keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
Was this what you were expecting from it, though? Honestly, like when because I showed you the trailer.
So yes and no. So the loose fitting narrative, no, I didn't know what the narrative was going to be. And also no, in the sense that, in a lot of trailers, whenever all you see is just like set pieces and backdrops and everything, you're like, oh no, that's just like them setting up, showing you what this world looks like. But that's not how the movie is. I see it done in a lot of Westerns, how they'll do almost like a teaser trailer. And I thought that that's what they were doing in the trailer to this. No, that's literally how the movie is. And it took me a while to grasp that. But as far as like the graininess, all of that stuff, yeah, it's really weird. Like, I expected this, but not this version of this.
Yeah, I know what you mean. First time I saw the trailer, it had that narrator, he was like, in this house, and you're just like, fuck, like that was just as unnerving, like the warble of the voice, and then like the nothingness. And to finally get a trailer that both does not spoil the movie and also gives you exactly what to expect in this movie. You know how most trailers try to fake you the fuck out when you're going into it, and you're just like, oh man, this looks like it's going to be great. And then they've shown you the whole movie in the trailer.
That, or I see a lot of psychological horror movies do this thing where the trailer would have you think, no, this is straight up horror. Maybe it's even a slasher. I don't know. And it's actually a slow burn psychological.
Yep.
And it's like, well, I came out loving it, but a lot of people didn't because you sold them something different than what was advertised.
You sold them a fucking dream.
Yeah, like, if you're going to make an experimental slow burn of a horror movie, let people know that, because then you're going to get a whole bunch of normies walking in, and then they're going to hate it, and they're going to bomb it on Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, whatever the fuck, and they're going to tell all their friends and family, yeah, I went and saw it, don't go see it, it sucked. You know, so the problem with that is, I understand you're trying to market this movie to a wider audience, but that first weekend box office will be fine. Second week is going to be abysmal. If you sell it to the people that would actually want to watch it, then more people will show up.
I think that's why a lot of these people that make these movies, and power to them, because they fucking absolutely should do it this way, dude. I really think that's why a majority of these people try to keep, especially in horror movies, because it's easy to turn them out, trying to keep the budget low.
Yeah.
Because let's talk about box office turnaround, like for horror real quick. It's so easy to make a profit.
Well, yeah.
Horror films are the easiest films to make a profit on in the box office. I think the only thing that is a second to that is comedy, because it depends on the comedy.
Mm-hmm.
But $15,000 and then $2 million turnaround. That's insane. It's fucking amazing. I want to say the first Paranormal Activity had about the same budget.
Probably. Don't quote me on that, but wouldn't doubt it.
What do you think without looking at it, what do you think the rating is on IMDb for this? Give me the rating and then the Rotten Tomatoes score. Whatever you think it is. Not that this has anything to do with how we feel about this movie, because we've obviously said how we feel about it. We fucking think you should go absolutely,
yeah,
go watch it.
As far as IMDb goes, probably 6.
Close enough. 5.2.
Okay.
So should we give it a helping hand, sir?
Yeah. Rotten Tomatoes. So we're talking percentage, though, not like overall score.
Yeah, we're talking just a percentage right now. And I'll tell you that right now it's based on 100 reviews.
Okay.
And
100 flat?
Right, as of right now, it's based on 100 reviews. I'll go.
70.
Absolutely, 70%. Yes. I was going to say, I'll go to the website just to.
Because you have to realize, like, that's less. More than a quarter did not like it, and it is going to be a divisive film. They knew that going in.
Oh, yeah.
So that's not like an insult. But for more than a quarter of even critics to be like, nah, it's not for me, understandable.
What's the audience score? That's what I'll throw at you. What's the audience score on this one? I am on the actual website now, so it's still 70% for the tomato meter.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. How many reviews are there for the audience?
100 plus verified.
Okay.
That's what it says. 100 plus.
You're going to have some of the art house nerds, but you're also going to have some normal people. 68?
Ooh, you're being polite.
No.
Yeah.
42?
43%.
43%. And I wanted to say 42 immediately, but I was really hoping that most of those people were art house geeks.
No, because unfortunately, I think a lot of people that went into this movie were totally expecting, like, they were, okay, and I know, and I really mean this in a good way, because I like both of these films, and I know we've said these movies twice, but it does make sense if you really stop to think about how good one of these was, and how poorly received the other one was at the time, and then it went on later to actually have retroactively great, reviews.
Mm-hmm.
People went into this expecting Paranormal Activity with kids, but they came out of it with the taste in their mouth that the Blair Witch Project left in 1999. It's just kind of oof. But the Blair Witch Project actually, again, went on to have retroactively good reviews or whatever. I really feel like give Skinamarink some time, and I think people will come back to it maybe 5-10 years, and they'll be like, man, we really didn't appreciate what this was, because it's fucking good.
Especially if the director gets more work. and he can hone his craft even more and whatnot, I think a lot of people will look at this the way they do Kanye West's Yeezus, where at the time, I remember this being in middle school and everybody was like, dude, that shit was ass. Because it was so different. And now, there are plenty of people that are like, dude, Yeezus is one of his better albums. Yeezus had to walk in order for other albums to run. And I feel like Skinamarink will do something similar.
I think Skinamarink is going to be the one that has to take a bullet for this particular genre of horror to get off the ground. People are going to be like, okay, well, here's what worked for it and here's what didn't. So let's improve on what didn't work and let's keep what did work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, I'm sure we talked about this earlier, but just as a reminder, the fact that this man shot this in his childhood house, that is a special kind of I'm scared shitless of my fucking home. This would be a great fucking setting for a horror film.
Honestly, my childhood home probably wouldn't be half bad either.
Mine, maybe. It was small, but like I feel like there was a creep factor of dark hallways that fucked with me.
And that's what I'm talking about is we had the dark hallways, we had the big grandfather clock, we had like some of the way that the architecture on the inside of it, yeah, it creeped me out a little bit as a child.
My childhood road that I grew up on, because my entire family lived on that block. And it was a dead end blacktop drive. Like it was just a blacktop road the whole way down. One street light. One.
Fuck that.
One. Not even in the middle. On the actual road that you turn off of to go down the road.
Nah, Chief, you can keep all that.
The only light that was on was at a building that was halfway down the fucking road, and it was a backlight.
No.
Surrounded by woods. My house sat on a 1 acre property that was shared along the way down my great-grandparents and my grandparents' house at the end. But if you went behind every house, endless woods. Never fucking ending. Scary shit at night. That is like the Evil Dead made me not want to go outside at night as a kid.
Oh, God.
This movie, thank fuck that it's out in 2023, because had this come out in 1993, dude, I would be afraid of every fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know a lot of people are just like, it's not really that scary. Watch this movie at 9 o'clock at night with no lights on, nothing else happening in the house. Just let the dead space of the silence like fill the room, and then let this happen. And especially if you got a fucking sound like system like we watched this on.
And also just think about it from the perspective of a fucking 4-year-old.
Yeah, you nobody out there, and I don't give a fuck who you are, you cannot tell me that you were Tommy Pickles at fucking 4, where you were just this brave little toaster of a baby.
Yeah.
Walking around in your fucking shit underwear. Like with a screwdriver ready to fuck shit up. You fucking were not. You were Chucky Finster, you fraidy cat fuck.
Dude, and if we're going to talk about a dirty-ass fucking diaper, I brought it up to you before, and I'll say it on the air. My biggest complaint with this movie is the fact that these damn kids, how the fuck y'all sleep in those pajama pants?
I know, it was the most random fucking thing too, and it was like, I thought he was going to ask me like the most serious fucking question about this movie. It's like, oh my God, I don't understand it. Like, what? How these little motherfuckers sleeping like that? Like, what you talking about? With the fucking pants and the fucking shirt? And I'm like, with the shirt, you got a point.
They don't show it, but I feel like the shirts were long sleeve as well.
They were.
Dude, I never could. My parents would buy me the dopest looking pajamas sets. Could never sleep in them. I'd be walking around the house wearing them. And they're like, you don't ever sleep in that? And I was like, yeah, no, I can't. I got to feel the fucking comforter and blanket and mattress and all that shit. If I'm covered up, I can't fucking do it.
You know what? I think I've cracked this film.
Okay.
All this shit was happening because they had to wear these fucking pajamas to sleep in. They was just uncomfortable as fuck and having fever dream nightmares because they couldn't get comfortable.
Yeah, they were borderline. No, not borderline. They straight up were insomniacs. They were hallucinating.
Absolutely. They were hallucinating. And then the little bastard fell and hit his head and he was really concussed.
Bro. That shit's fire.
All right, so we've cracked the case. Skinamarink is a story about two insomniac children, one of which gets a fucking concussion and trips balls. Like, this is Shrooms the movie without having shrooms. Honestly, dude, I commend this child for, being awake and seeing this shit as long as he was. True contender for Power Slap if he ever wanted to do it.
Oh, dude. Dude, that should be fire.
He's going to grow up. That entity is going to, like, become best friends with him, and it's going to take his body over, and he's going to be like,
We're gonna fuck him up, kid.
Bro, what if it's just like fucking Eddie Brock and the Venom symbiote, where it's just like,
after you knock him out, let me eat his brain.
That's exactly how it would go, too. Like, that fucker wouldn't even be, like, funny about it, though. He would legitimately, like, fuck some people up. But I really feel like that's the cracked, that's the case is solved, right? They got these shitty pajamas on, and they can't get comfortable. They're having, like, nightmares and all this, like, hallucination shit, and they're insomniacs, and it would be really fucked up if that was the actual case.
oh, dude. If it comes out that we were right about some bullshit that we were riffing off of, I will ride that until the wheels fall off. I'll own that shit.
Oh, you're fucking right, dude. But yeah, Skinamarink is still on Shudder right now. If you don't have a Shudder account, do it. Sign up for the free trial. Watch this movie. Give it support, honestly, because even if it's something that's not up your alley, I want to give as much support to Kyle Edward Ball as possible, because the dude apparently can do wonderful shit on a shoestring budget and honestly deserves a bigger budget to have even more of his visions come to life.
Mm-hmm.
Also, check out his YouTube channel, Bite-Sized Nightmares. If you want to support even more of his work, you can actually check out the short film Heck, upon which Skinamarink was conceptualized through. And while you're at that, visit supermediabrospodcast.com for past, present, and future episodes. And then check out all the other shows on the OddPods Media Network by visiting oddpodsmedia.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on social media. Buy a t-shirt, brother.
At least 5.
Yeah, no shit. 5 of them for your whole family. Because even if you don't want to wear us out, our shirts make hella good pajama shirts. And you will be comfortable falling asleep with it on.
Yeah. Ain't no long sleeve shit over here.
I mean, you could if you wanted, but we highly recommend the short sleeves.
Yeah.
If you want long sleeve, get a hoodie and just go wear that shit outside. But
Mm-hmm.
get a t-shirt too so you can fall asleep in it. It's mega cozy. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, GoodPods, and Podchaser. Leave us a comment on our YouTube channel, by the way. We've had a few comments come in about the Villa Vala episode that we did, and it was nice seeing some feedback. So go leave us a comment. We actually read that shit, and we will respond to you out there. All right, let's get the fuck out of here, because I've got some shopping to do for light fixtures and anything else that I can put in this house to keep the lights on, because I'm not going to be able to sleep with the sons of bitches off.
Yeah, and I need to go get a new set of socks because I've got 2 mixed match pairs of socks and they both got holes in them. So,
yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Until next week, I'm Richie.
I'm Devin.
Shades on.
We're off.